Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and I thought, or I had said that I would be coming to you today with my January wrap-up. And then I realized timing-wise that didn't make much sense. So the January wrap-up is coming on Tuesday. Today I'm here with my January book haul. You will be hearing Mario Brothers in the background because this is the weekend. My son is home. It wouldn't be one of my videos without weird background noise. But let me get into the books that I brought into my house this month. So I'm going to start with two that I don't physically have. They are both audiobooks, and I put them on my TBR, although I don't know if I should have. I've already read one, and it's really for my family that I have these, but I got the audiobook versions of the Emily Wilson translations of the Iliad and the Odyssey. I've heard great things about this. My daughter is really into Greek history and Greek mythology, so I wanted to have these so it would be something that we could listen to on car trips like that. I did put it on my TBR, counting as towards books to my overall number for my TBR. I'm still not sure if I should do that or not, but we have them. I don't know when we're going to get to them, but they are here. And then I have another book here that is not on my TBR that I got. It's called, this is the Shakespeare Year, Everyday Shakespeare, Lines for Life. And what this is every day you get a little Shakespeare quote, and then the authors, who are Ben Crystal and David Crystal, it's a father and son team. They kind of explain the quote and how you can use it in everyday life. For example, today I'm filming this is Sunday, January 28th. And the quote today is from Measure for Measure, and it is, "Make not impossible that which but seems unlike." So they talk about what this actually means and when you can kind of throw it out in conversation. So it's just a fun little thing a little bit to read each day. I'm not counting it towards my TBR or anything like that, but it did come in to my library this month. Okay, then the next book I have was my Book of the Month selection, which is Mercury by Amy Jo Burns. I have already read this book, so it's not going to count on my TBR because I've already read it. I mean, I received it and then I read it. It's not like I bought a book I already read. I received it and then I read it within this month. So it came in. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it an A or a B+. I can't remember exactly what I ended up giving it. But I'm probably not going to put this on my keeper shelf, but I think this may be a book that my family down in Salem, who I'll be seeing later, well, in February, would enjoy. So I'm going to bring this book down for them. Okay, now we're into the meat of things. This is my honest to goodness. Here we go. So the first book I have, I saw this book on Jennifer at Jennifer Loves Books channel. And she talked about it and I said, I have to have that book. So I ordered it, like total impulse thing. But this is Night Side of the River. It's Ghost Stories by Jeanette Winterson. I'm currently reading The Gap of Time by Jeanette Winterson, which is a retelling of The Winter's Tale. Their thoughts about that, my problems with that are with the source material, not with the writing. I do actually kind of like the writing in it, but I also really like ghost stories, and I'm all for a short story collection. So I got this, and I may actually start reading this one pretty soon. But yeah, so Jeanette Winterson, Night Side of the River. Okay, I got my pile going here. I'm so lucky you guys cannot see what's outside because it's just a mess. There's a pile of books everywhere. So the next two are Shakespearean plays, but I'm only going to show you one because the other one, we are either going to read it in March or April because I am seeing this play in May. So if it is not the play that I pull out of the tin for March, it's going to just be our April play, and I'm going to just hold on to it. So just know there's another Shakespeare play I'm not talking about. But I did get, in addition to that one, The Merry Wives of Windsor, because this is the play we're doing for February. Again, the Bard Room is just reading through all of Shakespeare's plays, one a month with 2 months off. So it's 10 plays a year, and they're randomly drawn. And this is the one that came up for February. So Merry Wives of Windsor. The next book I have is sort of I'm not sure how you would describe this. It's a novel with multiple authors, but with sort of the kind of like interlinking short stories. This one is called A Day of Fire, and it's set in Pompeii before the eruption of Vesuvius. And it's written by a number of historical fiction writers. Kate Quinn, Stephanie Dre, Ben Kane, Eliza Knight, Sophie Pierno, and Victoria Alviar. Some combination of this. I read another book which was about the French Revolution, and it was interesting because you can tell that each chapter, which is kind of a story, it focuses on a different person. And that one was written by a different author, but the only one of those authors I had read at the time was Kate Quinn. And so it introduced me to some other authors, but I like that idea. So I got this one about Pompeii, and I also just put one on hold about something else. I can't remember what it was now, but it came up on Libby as like a suggested thing. So I put it on hold, and now I can't remember what it is, but this is the one I purchased, Day of Fire. Sticking with Shakespeare, I showed this in my last update, but I have Shakespeare's sonnets and poems. I am forcing Shakespeare down my children's throats. We're reading one sonnet a night at dinner time. Although last night I did two because they were like connected sonnets. Force feed your kids Shakespeare. It's got to be good for them. I don't know, but I said on my update, I'm showing this to you now, and I'll show it to you again when I finish it. So you probably won't see this for quite some time. It not only has just the sonnets, but it also has some of his longer poems. It should have all of his poetry in here. So it has the sonnets, and then it has Venus and Adonis, and Venus and Adonis, and then has Lucrece and the Phoenix and the Turtle. I think that's it, but it has other poems in here as well. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do when I get to the longer poems, if I'm just going to read those or if I'm still going to force them on my kids. Personally, I'm all for forcing them on my kids. So the next one, I'm excited to read, but for the reason that I read it, it was a little bit of a misfire. So I had mentioned before that I am doing a challenge on Storygraph, which is like, it's called Storygraph Reads the World. And every year they come up with 10 countries and you're supposed to read a book from there. So I found this for Jamaica. That's one of the countries this year, but it turns out this is not, some of the stories are about people from Jamaica, and the writer might be of Jamaican heritage, but she's actually Canadian. Like, she was born in Canada, lives in the United States now. So for the way I am defining that challenge, this book isn't going to work for the challenge, but I'm still excited to read it. And that is The Islands. And these are short stories by Dion Irving. Again, there's stories about women from Jamaica and other places in the Caribbean. So again, I love a short story collection, so put this there. I still need to find a book for Jamaica though. Okay, and the next one, my final three, this one is The Busybody by Kemper Donovan. Kemper Donovan is the host, previously co-host, but sadly his co-host passed on unexpectedly, but he hosts the All About Agatha podcast, and he's also a writer, and this is a mystery that he wrote. It is Agatha Christie inspired, from what I understand, or at least stylistically it is. So I'm excited to read this. I pre-ordered it as soon as I could, and it finally came. I actually have a number of pre-orders that are going to come throughout the year that I kind of forgot that I ordered them, but it's kind of like a surprise. And then finally, I have decided to be, if you've been watching my channel, I'm kind of reading through Agatha Christie's works in roughly publication order. And I decided to be a little more formal about that this year. So I am assigning an Agatha Christie book a month in publication order, roughly. So I went through and figured out what those would be. And I realized that there were two coming up that I didn't already own. So I did get those. So the first one is NRM, and this is a Tommy and Tuppence novel, this is set during World War II. So Tommy and Tuppence are the only detectives Agatha Christie wrote who age. Everyone else, Poirot, Marple, like, they start old and they stay old, even though time proceeds, they don't age. But Tommy and Tuppence do. So Tommy and Tuppence, this is technically the third Tommy and Tuppence book. The first one was The Secret Adversary, where they're just young. They kind of like meet up again after the war, and it's very madcap and young. So the second one, which is a short story collection, which I have just finished, and it happens to be right here, is Partners in Crime. And this is like, they're married at this point, but they're young married. So this one's a little bit older. So they're now in World War II. They have children now. So we'll see how this goes. Tommy and Tuppence are a little bit of a harder sell for me because I find them better in small doses. So we're going to see how this novel works, but I can't remember what month I'm reading this in, but it's at some point this year. And then the other one that I did not have, and I believe this is the one I'm reading in December, this looks like nope, it's a Superintendent Battle book. And it's towards 0. I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming that it is tennis related by the cover. Something about what is the connection among a failed suicide attempt, a wrongful accusation, theft against a schoolgirl, and the romantic life of a famous tennis player. So this is, I believe I'm reading this one in December, but now I have all of the Agatha Christie novels that I will be reading this year. Come next year, I'll figure out what I have and what I still need, and I'll order the ones that I need at that point. But I just figured this is going to be a good way to kind of keep me on track with it. So that is what I brought in this year. That is a total of, not including Mercury, which I have already finished, but including the Iliad and the Odyssey. I don't know if I should include those on my TBR or not, but I am for the time being. That's let's see, 12. That's 11 books that I brought in this month, which is not horrible. Trust me, it's not, compared to what I did last year in January. I actually really started keeping track of my hauls in March. So when we get to March, I will do a book haul revisit. But January and February of last year were very frightening, so I'm not going to publicly admit to those. We'll start those in March. But 11 is not horrible, especially because I actually have plans, real plans to read these. It's not like they're aspirational books that I'm going to get to at some point. I actually do have a plan to read a lot of these. So I'm not too worried about it. I do want to say that right now, January 28th, 2024, the Powell's Books Friends and Family sale, which is a really good sale, it's 30% off everything, is going on, and I am not there. I am not at Powell's. I have not been to Powell's this weekend. I will not be going to this sale. I do know that if I had gone to that sale, I don't have anything kind of on the top of my head that I need to buy. So it would be impulse buying, and I'm trying not to do that. I'm not doing any kind of read what you own challenge, but I'm also trying to curb my impulse buying. So I realized that me going to that sale would not be a good idea. So I'm not. But yeah, so that's my haul for January. I can't think of anything that I'm going to need to buy, although I do have a few pre-orders that are coming in February. So we'll see what February brings. But I'm okay with 11 books in, especially since one of them, not one of the 11s, but what brought it down to 11 is a book that I read and already finished. So there you go. So thank you very much. Like, subscribe. Discord information is down below, especially if you want to join the Bard Room. And thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.